Welcome to Veteran Resource Podcast, where you will meet nonprofit organizations focused on improving the lives of veterans and their family members. Here is your host, Jeremy Paris.
Welcome, everybody, to the beginning of Season 3 of the Veteran Resource Podcast. This is episode 55, in case you're wondering. I'm your host, Jeremy Paris, and I am super stoked to finally get this season off the ground. And the very first thing I want to do is apologize to everybody out there, because I said that I was taking a couple months off in between Season 2 and Season 3 to try to rework some things and improve what it was that I was providing to you so that I could give you the most value. And in between there was a lot of life things that happened, one of which was getting laid off from my job. So I was in the DoD community for the last 16 years. And the company that I'm with started to make some changes. There was some merges that happened with other businesses, and they split at some point. Long story short, they needed to lay off a bunch of people. My name came up on the list, and I really looked at it as an opportunity to follow my true passion, which is helping veterans through this podcast and to make it even bigger and provide even more value for veterans to be able to get plugged into all of those nonprofit organizations and other resources that are really, really helping you and your family members. So I decided I'm going to go full bore with this thing. And instead of just going one episode per week, I'm going to do 2 episodes a week or 3 episodes a week. And then as it started to churn and I came up with all of these different things that I could do and all of this different value that I thought that I could provide to the listener, I decided to go with 5 episodes per week, which I've already had some people in the industry tell me, you're kind of insane here. That's a lot of work. But I really feel like I can do this now. I've got the time, I have the opportunity, the desire, and when it's your passion, you can figure out ways to make it work. When John Lee Dumas first came out with a 7-day per week podcast, everybody in the industry said, you can't do it. You're going to burn out. There's no way that you can manage that many episodes. Every single day you're going to put out a new episode. That's insane. Well, John Lee Dumas said, I know what I'm doing. He was a former Army officer. He knew that putting processes in place would really make things different and make things easier for him and attainable. And so he did it. He jumped in and he started to batch things together so that he was, instead of doing one episode every single day, he was doing many episodes a day, like 8 episodes in a single day. He would schedule all of the interviews, get them all knocked out, but then he would release them once per day. And that's kind of what I'm looking at doing here, where I'm going to be batching some of my episodes together when I'm doing the back end, the stuff that you guys won't see or hear. But that way it's going to allow me to release an episode Monday through Friday, every single day on an ongoing basis. And I really think that it's going to give you that value that I really want to give to my listeners. So that is what I decided to do. And while I was trying to set things up, I decided, you know what? I'm going all in here. I might as well put together a whole new website. So I started building a brand new website, and I was almost done with the website. And then I had people like Russell Satilli pinging me saying, hey, Jeremy, what's going on? You said you had new episodes coming out. What is going on here? When do I get to hear them? Well, Russell, here they are. They're going to start coming now, fast and furious. And I apologize to Russell and to everybody else out there who was wondering where the episodes were and if this was ever going to start back up again. Thank you so much for waiting for me. And from this point forward, you're going to get a lot more coming to you. So what does this look like? Well, first off, let me start by telling you about the website. I created a new website and put it at a new URL. So you could still go to veteranpodcast.com, and that's going to forward you on to veteranresourcepodcast.com. But the new URL that I want everybody to start going to with the whole new rebranding is veteranresourcepodcast.com. It makes sense. It makes it easy. And when you're talking about the Veteran Resource Podcast, the first thing that you're going to think the URL is veteranresourcepodcast.com. And that's why I decided to go and buy that and set that all up with the new website. And so when you go there, the first thing you're going to see is me. I'm in the background there kind of doing my podcast thing. But then as you scroll down, you're going to be able to see the latest episode and listen to it right there. You can subscribe on all of the different channels that I'm on, Google Play and Stitcher and iTunes. Then inside there, you're going to be able to see the About Me section. You're going to be able to click on the podcast tab and see all of the episodes that I've done. There's going to be a blog tab where I'm going to start blogging every week. Yep. On top of 5 episodes, why not throw a blog in there too? So I'm going to start doing that for you. I've got my reviews there. I've got tools that I use, and I'm toying with the idea of doing a Start Here page where I'm going to point people to there so that I'm going to walk through on the Start Here page really what it is that I'm trying to accomplish, what it is I'm doing. And for somebody that's brand new, that's just coming to the Veteran Resource Podcast, how can they get the most out of this? Well, you'll be able to start at the Start Here page. So if you go to the website, you hear this episode, you go to the website, and it's not there yet, it's because I'm still working on it. The rest of the website is up and operational, so feel free to go and check it out. Right at the top, there is a Join the Veteran Resource Podcast newsletter banner that goes across the top, and I invite you to stick your email address in there and subscribe. Aside from putting out information about the latest episodes and what's coming up, I'm also going to be adding some other things in that newsletter from time to time. It might be live events I'm going to. It might be speaking engagements that I have and different things like that. So please put your email address in there, and I'm not going to spam you. I'm just going to give you quality content and keep you informed of everything that's going on in the veteran community. So now let's talk about the new format of the show. So I mentioned that we're going to have 5 episodes every single week, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to have 5 nonprofits that I'm interviewing every week. I decided that I wanted to stick with 1 per week and really kind of do a deep dive into that nonprofit and find out what it is they have to offer to veterans and their family members. But on top of that, there was some other things that I wanted to give you, some other pieces of value that I thought that if I only do episodes where I'm interviewing veteran nonprofits, then I'm missing out on some of the other benefits and some of the other things that I could be providing. So what I decided to do is kind of theme it where Mondays, it's just going to be me talking. It's going to be kind of like this episode where I'm giving you more of a motivational Monday, if you will. And I'm just talking about a specific subject and kind of giving you my opinions on it. And you'll get to know me a little bit better just by listening to those Monday episodes. And then Tuesday is going to be a Veteran News Tuesday. So I'm going to be looking for different articles that catch my eye that are in the newspapers or online, different stories that maybe you might have seen, but maybe you didn't see. But I will be taking those and getting into it a little bit and giving you my opinion of what I think that article is all about. Tuesdays is going to be Veteran News Tuesdays. Wednesday is going to be your normal episode where I interview a veteran-focused nonprofit. So you're still getting that every Wednesday. Thursdays, I'm looking to do Thought Leader Thursday. So I'm going to be talking to different people. They might be veterans, they might be military members, they might even be civilians, but whoever it is that I'm talking to, I'm going to be looking for a specific message that they have that would be beneficial to veterans or to military spouses, family members. I'm going to find out what it is they have to offer, and I'm going to kind of talk with them and have an interview with these thought leaders to try to get the most value out of them for you. And then Fridays, right now, what I'm looking at doing, I told you that I wanted to start doing a blog post on the site. I do like to write, so that's where I'm going to be doing some writing, and I'll write a really good article for you that has something to do with something that you're going to be interested in. I'm sure of it. And then what I decided to do was, since some people don't like to go in and read these articles, I'm going to also do an audio blog for that article. So I'm going to produce one blog article per week. It'll be on the website under the blog tab. So you could go in and you could read that if you want. But if you want to listen to it in audio format, I'm not going to be reading it word for word, really. I mean, I don't want to sound very mechanical, like I'm just reading something off of a script. But I'm going to try to cover all of the same information that I have in that article. I'm going to try to cover with my voice. So you have the option of listening to it or reading it. And when you go to that blog post page, you're going to be able to read the article, and also you'll have the player there so you can play it right from there if you like. Now, if you don't even want to bother with that at all, you could just stay in the podcast tab. It's still going to pop up in the podcast tab, and you'll be able to click on it and listen to it. So that's the new format that I'm looking at, and I'm curious what you guys are going to think about it. So please give me a week or two to kind of hear all of the different episodes, and then I would love any feedback that you would like to provide. Obviously, I can't be all things for all people, but I really, really want to provide as much value as I can to you. So if you think that what I'm doing is messing up, or you don't like, Tuesday's episodes or something like that, let me know. And you can send an email to jeremy@veteranpodcast.com, or one of the other things that we have, you can jump into the Facebook group and talk to me. And that is the next thing I want to talk about. Is I started a closed Facebook group. Now, I created a group for the Veteran Artist Program, and it's a closed Facebook group, and it is really successful. There's over 850 veteran artists in the VAP community, which is a closed Facebook group, and they're communicating on a regular basis, sharing their artwork with each other. They're collaborating, they're asking questions and getting answers by their peers. And it's a great community that some really great friendships have grown out of. I know that I've become friends with a bunch of people in that group through there just by communicating back and forth and really getting to know each other. So I decided, why don't I do the same thing for the Veteran Resource Podcast? I mean, right now, when I give you a podcast episode, it's one way. I'm kind of talking to you and you're listening, but I would really like the two-way communication, and more importantly, I would like it to go sideways as well. I would like all of you communicating with each other, because many of you are going through some rough times, and it's better if you're going through these rough times with each other. Some of you are having some huge highlights in your life, and it's awesome if you could share those with other people, your peers who are also veterans and who, might have a lot in common and might fully understand what it is you're talking about, or what it is you're going through, or what questions you have. Or maybe you're interested in an organization like Team Red, White, and Blue. And so you can jump in there and say, hey, who here has worked with Team Red, White, and Blue? What can you tell me about them from being on the inside? So that's what I'm looking for. And I'm also putting the invite out there to all of the people that I've interviewed to come into that group as well, so that if you listen to an episode and you say, wow, I really love what they said, that really resonated with me, and I would like to get a little bit more of a conversation going, maybe you could just jump into the Facebook group and start a conversation with that person. And whatever it is that you're asking or advice that you're giving, somebody else might benefit from it too. Just by seeing you say that, it might be a question that they didn't even think to ask, but they see you say it, and now they're interested, and now they want to know the answer. Now, this happens to me all the time. I am in a lot of different groups. I've got podcasting groups and internet business groups and veterans groups and dads groups and all kinds of things. And this happens to me all the time, probably once a week. Somebody will ask a question in the group, and it's a question that I never would have thought to ask, but I really want to know the answer. And so I just type a comment in there following, and now when somebody else jumps in there and starts communicating about that, it pops up in my notifications, and I can see what other people are talking about that. So that's a great example of sometimes you don't even know what it is that you want to ask, but somebody else will ask the question, and now it's exactly the question that you have. So you can follow along and get the answer just by doing that. So I invite you to go to veteranresourcepodcast.com/community, and that's going to redirect you over to the Facebook group where you can join. Like I said, you can communicate with me in there. If you want to be on a more personal level, feel free to friend request me. I will accept you. You can message back and forth, or you can just send me an email and say, "Hey, Jeremy, I've got a question for you," or "What do you think about this?" or "Here's some advice on why I think your podcast sucks." Hopefully I won't get too many of those, but you know what I'm talking about. One of the other things that I'm really looking at doing with making this my number one priority, my passion, my career, is I want to start going and speaking in front of large groups of veterans so that I can get the word out about all of these nonprofits. I mean, I've got the podcast going now, but not everybody is listening to the podcast out there. And there are 20,000 new veterans that are transitioning out of the military every single month. So I really want to try to get in front of as many of those veterans as possible. And I've got a lot of ideas of how I could really improve that and really help veterans that are transitioning out to get plugged in with these nonprofits. And I'll be talking about that in future episodes and down the road, probably in the Facebook group, some of the different ideas that I'm running the ground. But what I'm hoping to do is to start speaking in front of these large groups of veterans, maybe at transition centers around the country, maybe at different veteran-focused events, maybe at other events that just happen to have a large population of veterans in that area, and maybe I'll be speaking at a podcasting event or something along those lines. But I really want to get the word out to as many people as possible about these nonprofit organizations that are helping veterans. So speaking is something that I feel I'm good at. I've been told I'm good at it from other people. So I figure I need to focus on my assets and try to get in front of a lot more people. I'm going to try to do a lot of traveling around the country. I'm going to be in Tucson and Phoenix in November, and I'm going to be going on to the Air Force Base, the Davis-Monthan Air Force Base, where my brother retired from, and I'm going to be going into the transition center there, talking with them, leaving behind some pamphlets and trying to get people that are transitioning out there plugged in. And I'm looking at going in and talking to some other organizations in the area while I'm in Tucson and in Phoenix. And one of the places that I'm going to is a nonprofit that you're going to hear on a future episode. I've already interviewed them, so it's already in the bucket waiting to be released. But I've talked to the Veterans Directory, and you should definitely go and check that out. They've got a list of, I'm not going to say all because they don't have all of the nonprofits out there yet, but they're trying to capture all of the veteran-focused nonprofits that are out there into this list. And so I'm going to start trying to push nonprofits there as well. It doesn't cost a nonprofit anything. You can go and you can submit, and they're going to get in contact with the nonprofit to get all of the pertinent details. So even if you are not a member of that nonprofit, but you go to the list, you look for them, and you don't see them in the list, please add them to the list. Anybody can try to add a nonprofit to the list, and they're going to do the research on the back end to make sure that all of the relevant information gets captured in the card for that nonprofit and make it even better so that we have a set place for veterans to go to and find these nonprofit organizations. they're based out of Phoenix, and while I'm in Phoenix, I'm going to stop over there and we're going to talk and see how we can help each other a little bit more. And during my time off between season 2 and season 3, I also, because, I just didn't have enough going on, I also decided to start up Podcast Playground with my co-founder, Kate. And the idea behind Podcast Playground is that it is the first podcast network for kids by kids. And what I mean by that is we actually have children that are hosting the different podcasts that are on there. My daughter, who is 7, when I tried to find some podcasts for her to listen to, I literally found like 3 or 4. There was a handful of other ones that were started back in 2010. They had like maybe 8 episodes and then they killed it. There's only a few that are currently available for kids, and I looked at that as a problem. I would absolutely love to have my daughter listening to podcasts instead of burying her face in a screen all day. Somebody needs to start putting some podcasts out there. And so I thought about, hey, maybe we can create a podcast that would be for kids. But then I started thinking even bigger, like I often do. And once I started to brainstorm this with Kate, we decided that we can create an entire network of podcasts, and we could just keep adding more and more kid-focused podcasts to the network as time goes on. And so we started off with Wacky News, which is Jackson, who is 10, and Dylan, who is 8. They are reading different stories that are relevant to kids, and they're really fun and enjoyable, and they're pretty short too. They're like 5 or 10 minutes long. The second podcast is Toothy Trivia, and the idea here is no more rushing your brushing. How many of your children rush through their brushing and don't brush for 2 full minutes? I'm raising my hand because my daughter will jump in there and out and say, I brushed my teeth, and maybe 30 seconds has passed. And so I have to march her back in there and stand over her shoulder and watch her brush her teeth to make sure she's getting those 2 minutes. So what we decided to do is we created this podcast called Toothy Trivia, where we have 2 episodes a day coming out, and we have 10-year-old Emma, who is reading 2 minutes of trivia to make it interesting for the kids to brush their teeth to. Every day it's something new. You've got a different subject every day, and Emma goes through and reads the 2 minutes, and they're done. And once I started to get my daughter to listen to it the first time, and she's like, I thought it was supposed to be 2 minutes. I said, yeah, it was 2 minutes, Aliciana. But she thought that it was like 30 seconds or something because she was so into it. She was listening and paying attention that it didn't seem like a full 2 minutes of just brushing your teeth. So I invite you, go and check out Podcast Playground if you have kids. Let them listen to Wacky News. Let them listen to Toothy Trivia. We're going to have some new ones coming in the future, but for now, those are the 2 we got. Let me know what you think. Let me know what your kids think of those podcasts. Okay, the last thing that I want to talk about before I close this up, I've got a friend of mine from the VAP community, Bill Richards. He is an awesome dude, and he creates artwork. He does web design. He has a bunch of albums out. He plays guitar and he sings. He's got a real, Johnny Cash feel to him for some of the songs. And I love what it is that he's doing. And he's always reaching out and trying to help other veterans. He reached out to me and he created a poster for me that had the information about being in the military, the dates that I was in and the unit that I left when I separated from the military and my rank and all of this cool stuff. And he created it for me free of charge. He goes out of his way to help other veterans. And so I grabbed one of his songs and I told him, you know what, I'm going to play one of your songs on the podcast if that's all right with you. And he said, yep, absolutely, that would be great. So I'm going to leave you with a song by Bill Richards, And if you like it, please go and check out his other stuff. Go to bill-richards.org. Check that out. And tomorrow I'm going to be talking about an article that a friend of mine, Tara, sent me about veterans who might have to pay back bonuses that they received. And it kind of got me fired up a little bit. So I'm going to be talking about that. And then on Wednesday, I'm going to be talking with Paul Riedner from Veteran Resilience Project. So that's going to be the Wednesday nonprofit episode. Make sure you check that out. It's going to be really, really good. It was an awesome interview. And then I've got Nicholas Karras for the Thursday Thought Leader episode. And then Friday's audio blog, I'm going to be talking about the things that I learned after interviewing 50 veteran-focused nonprofits. So I feel that that's going to be a pretty cool way to start out the blogging for the site. That's all I got. Here's Bill Richards. Make sure you go to bill-richards.org. Check out he's got some of his drawings and artwork right in the top there. He's got his music and everything. You can check him out. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Lord, stand me up. Lord, turn me around. Lord, put my feet on solid ground. I don't care where you take me, for I know where I've been. Lord, pick me up when I fall down again. Been down on my knees, begging to help me, please. It's too dark, I can't see. Don't turn away from me. I don't care where you take me, for I know where I've been. Lord, pick me up when I fall down again. Lord, stand me up. Lord, turn me around. Lord, put my feet on solid ground. I don't care where you take me, I know where I've been. Lord, pick me up when I fall down again. Dun, 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 dun. Lord, stand me up. Lord, turn me around. Lord, put my feet on solid ground. I don't care where you take me, for I know where I've been. Lord, pick me up when I fall down again. I don't care where you take me, I know where I've been. Lord, pick me up when I fall down again.